Welcome back to another story at my YouTube channel, Live a Little, Love a Lot. My name is Aditi Gupta and I'm here to bring to you the story for the month of December. It's that Christmas time, isn't it? That festive feeling, the coffee time, the hot chocolate time. Well, anyways, I've written a beautiful story. That's for you to decide, but I think it's beautiful. The title of the story is called The Whistling Kettle. And don't forget to subscribe and comment and let me know what you think. I'm going to start reading. It was that time of the year, Rima's favorite time. She was wiping down the counter, her sleeves rolled up, her breath fogging faintly in the cold. She couldn't think of any other place to be but where she was, at her very own bakery shop. It was called the Whistling Kettle. And like always, it was the busiest time. Rima and her husband Rajiv had opened their very own bakery shop 5 years ago. They moved lock, stock and barrel from Delhi to Shimla to live a more peaceful, contented life. The Whistling Kettle sat halfway down the snow-dusted Shimla lane, its windows glowing golden against the cold. A paper star hung above the sage green door, swaying gently in the wind. Through the glass, the cafe looked like a postcard. It was warm, alive, and smelling faintly of coffee, cinnamon, and freshly baked bread. Somewhere in the back, a kettle whistled softly, the sound that gave the place its name. It wasn't fancy or anything, It was warm. The kind of place where strangers lingered and the night never felt so cold. Rima peeked out of the window. The streets were quiet, and most of the town had already tucked in for the night. The shop's fairy lights flickered faintly through the fog, but Rima insisted on staying a wee bit longer. She couldn't help but think about Rajiv. He would have insisted on closing the shop by now. She looked up at the clock. Usually they would have locked up, walked home through the cold, laughing about how no one in their right mind would ever even want a cup of coffee at this ungodly hour. But this year, Raji was not there. She was all by herself in her bakery shop making a fresh batch of chocolate chip cookies. Well, someone had to keep the show running, right? After all, it was Christmas Eve. When the clock struck 8, the silence pressed like an extra layer of snow. She poured herself a cup of coffee and sat near the window. Outside, the street lights blurred into halos of white. A couple walked by. Their laughter trailed behind them like ribbons. Rima's eyes softened. She wasn't lonely exactly, just aware of the quiet. She savored that last sip of coffee, and she walked over to the oven to check on her cookies. Her husband's voice rang in her head. Nobody comes by past 7, he'd say. He would always say. She sighed, a long sigh. Maybe I should go home. Maybe he was right. But then, just then, the bell above jangled. 2 tall, hefty men stepped in, brushing snow from their shoulders. Their coats were heavy. Their faces were shadowed and unshaven. One wore a black skull cap, and the other's wavy hair fell loosely over his tired eyes. Rima froze. The warm hum of the cafe seemed to still. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the rolling pin resting on the counter. Do you have coffee? One of them smiled, just a little, almost apologetically. Are you open? His friend added. His voice was low but polite. We've been trudging for hours, but everything is closed. Rima exhaled, her shoulders relaxed. You're lucky the kettle's still whistling. They grinned gratefully, stamping the snow off their boots. She poured them coffee, watching the steam curl between them as they thawed in the warmth. One of them murmured, "The best smell in the world." Rima smiled faintly. Coffee or cinnamon? Both, he said, wrapping his hands around the mug. And just like that, the tension melted into a quiet companionship. The kind that needed no conversation, only warmth, and the comfort of knowing someone had kept the lights on. Moments later, another man dropped by. "Still open?" he asked. "Always for coffee," she smiled. He ordered a cappuccino and then shyly said, "Maybe a croissant." "Good choice. They were baked in the morning." He chuckled. "Morning croissant? Night coffee? Balance, I suppose." They chatted a bit while the kettles began to hum. He was a school teacher from Delhi visiting his sister in town. His train had been delayed, so he wandered up the hill for warmth. He left with a grateful smile and a generous tip. Rima felt lighter. The cafe smelled of cinnamon and butter again, and somehow that small conversation had thawed something inside her. She wiped the counter down one more time, humming softly. The bell rang again. This time it was a young couple, flushed, laughing, their noses red from the cold. They ordered 2 hot chocolates and a slice of plum cake. "You saved us," the girl said, holding her boyfriend's hand. "Everything is closed." Rima smiled. "I'm glad I could help." They stayed for an hour taking pictures, leaving crumbs and warmth behind. After they left, another family wandered in. A father and his little girl. She was wearing red mittens. The girl pressed her nose against the display case and whispered, "You know, Mama says Santa likes cookies." Rima gave her one on the house. "Tell him it's for me." So by 10 o'clock, the cafe had seen more customers than any Christmas Eve ever before. Everyone left a trace, a laugh, a thank you, a faint of smell of damp wool and snow. Rima leaned against the counter. Her feet were aching, but her heart was full. It was at that moment she wished that she had someone to give her a hand. The bell rang again. Ding ding! More customers. What on earth is going on tonight? She thought. The bell rang again. And this time she was just about to turn them away and tell them that they were about to close. And they could not accommodate any more customers. "Sorry, she began, and then froze. Rajiv stood at the door, his cheeks pink from the cold, his snow glinting in his hair. Behind him were their 2 children, holding boxes and laughing. "What's going on?" Rajiv whispered in Rima's ear and he pulled her into a hug. "I don't know. Customers just keep coming. They just keep appearing," she whispered back, squeezing his hands. And in that moment, Rima, Rajiv and their 2 sons rolled up their sleeves, took orders, made coffee and served the customers. It was almost midnight when the bakery shop was finally empty. All the customers had finally gone. "Wow, what a Christmas surprise," Rajiv exclaimed. "I wasn't expecting you until day after," Rima replied. "You really think that we let you spend Christmas alone?" He pulled her into another hug, squeezing her tight this time. For a second, Rima couldn't speak. Then she laughed. That helpless, tearful laugh that spills out when joy catches you by surprise. Rajiv wrapped his arms around her again. "We reached home, but you weren't there. So we thought, where else would you be except the Whistling Kettle, obviously. And if you won't come to Christmas, Christmas would come to you." They pulled the tables together, poured coffee and reheated brownies. The little coffee shop had once felt too big for one woman now brimmed with voices, warmth and clinking of mugs. Through the window, snow drifted softly down the lane, glowing golden in the light. When the last mug was washed, the chairs were stacked. Rima leaned her head on Rajiv's shoulder. "You know, I thought tonight would be lonely," she admitted. "But it turned out to be loud, sweet and crazy." Rajiv laughed softly. "Exactly like how Christmas is supposed to be." She nudged him. "You walked right in when I was just about to shut the door." "Well," he grinned, "good thing you didn't. You kept the lights on and look what happened. People wandered in, stories wandered in, He ran his fingers through her grey hair, and so did we. Rima looked around the little bakery. Funny, she whispered. I kept the shop open tonight because I didn't want to feel alone, and instead I got a room full of hearts. He kissed her forehead and smiled, because when you stay open, warmth always finds a path back home. And that's the end of the story. I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If you liked the story if it warmed your heart, do share it with someone you love. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Why? Because it matters to me. Stay tuned for the next one. Take care.